Alan, Chery is back in Australia, the Chinese brand, with an Omoda 5.
It's an interesting brand. It was previously brought in by the same man that does Maserati and a few other brands.
Ferrari.
Now, of course, it is its own subsidiary, which means it's actually brought in by Chery Australia.
And Alan, it is a different approach this time, much more bling and much more technology.
Oh, much more bling and much more technology. Now, David, you've been driving it around for a little, so you've gotten used to its subtleties. But before we go into that and its features, let's talk firstly about the range. There's two of them. There's this one, the top of the range EX, which has some smart red trim. Also a plastic interior, all the seats in plastic and so forth. And then there's the base model. David, what are the prices? About
$30,000 and $33,000, which is really aiming very, very low in the price market.
Well, I tell you what, if a buyer's buying on price, you're going to be hard pressed to find something of this size for that money. So long as it's not like some of those other Chinese brands that are having rust problems. You know the one. We're not going to mention it, but you know the one.
It certainly has more technology, and that refinement is an issue that we might talk a little bit about. But nonetheless, bang for your buck is pretty darn good.
It's got a 5-star safety rating. I think the front certainly looks interesting. At the launch, they told us how many little dots were in the grille. I'm not sure why they bothered, but it's got a 1.5 litre motor.
4-cylinder, turbocharged to a CVT gearbox.
CVT. My heart sunk. Plastic band. Oh dear God. The side profile, I think, looks rather smart, David.
In a sort of angular sense, a modern sense, but with sloping lines. It's not just a boxy SUV.
No, the back I think is interesting, David. It's got this kind of joining light bar and fancy kind of animated lights and animated turn signals. They've kind of tried to give it a European look. Do you think they've succeeded?
Well, certainly it's not flat, and it suits the sloping back roof line, I think.
And most important when you're out and about shopping is that you can unlock the back of the car with this electric tailgate, something that's stunning in a car for this price. And it hasn't unlocked the sides so that you don't have to, because there's no lock button up here. There's only a close button. So you can put your stuff in the back and you don't have to go around and lock the cars again or get that out of your pocket. Rather good.
Quite a deal of room there, not too bad. Open here with quite simplicity, but if you open this foam thing further, you get a spare tyre.
That's a space saver spare, David.
Yes, it is.
But nonetheless, at least it is actually a physical spare. How's space in the back, David?
Looks pretty good, not too bad. Being an SUV, I don't have to duck my head too much. Oh, that's quite good. There's some room under the seat, although it does push your feet up a little high. I lack a little bit of support under here, but look at that room there.
Knee room, nice. How's the view towards the front?
Somewhat blocked by this, but I do have a way of tickling the neck of the driver in front of me.
Let's have a look at you in the front. David, go around the corner.
Okay.
It sounds like you've got a sonar.
Yeah. A slightly quicker sonar sound.
You've done it again.
Yeah, well.
Don't ask me.
No.
Let's talk about the screens. They're lovely wide screens. I think generally the interior for a $33,000 car doesn't look too bad.
Oh, I think the graphics, the way they've presented data is very, very good. It shows you in your lane and the vehicles around you. It gives you confidence that the car understands what's happening.
So now that we've got the infotainment system switch on, we've got some buttons down the right-hand side, some icons down the left-hand side. We swap between them. This has got Apple CarPlay. What's up, Joyce? You're getting a bit, are you getting a bit independently cranky?
It's not moving. The coordinated or the adaptiveness of Sydney traffic signals has declined.
Did you say that Sydney was coordinated?
Sydney has one of the best systems that's sold around the world, but you have to keep it updated.
Yeah. First, before we go any further, can I just comment? I realise this car's been parked in the sun for a bit, but the air conditioning, it's not quite up to snuff.
It's taking a long time to cool down.
The air coming out
I'm
of
in a car with you, Alan, and I'm sweating.
I'm going to say that will be for the first time.
Trust me, that means there's something mechanically wrong.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of scratchy plastic, not bad for a $32,900 whatever it is car. The noise, there's a little bit of noise. I quite like this little graphic up here. The car is kind of clear, but you were complaining about on the highway, the car was jumping in the lanes in the graphic.
You know, I said I love the graphics that show you in your lane and cars around you. It reinforces a feeling of confidence that the car is perceiving what's there. But the little graphics in there have the cars wobbling a bit, have two cars in different lanes.
That wouldn't worry me in the slightest. I wouldn't even notice it because I don't care. Like you're not going to do anything because it's jumping around. You just know that it's doing it, right?
Well, it looks as though a car is moving over onto your lane when it's not.
Yeah, but you're looking out there.
Yeah, you are, but it's back to whether I am confident in the car perceiving accurately what's around me.
One thing I like about this, David, which you haven't noticed, is a USB up here. So you could plug your Navman into that.
Ah.
So is this what you're doing? Yes, see, manual. It's just holding the button. It's got nothing to do with pulling the thing. Nothing whatever. Press and hold. Press and hold. Well, I'm glad we got that sorted out.
It's like the old style where you used to push the button to hold it in third gear.
And David, you're nothing if not old style. The ride on this is not quite as sophisticated. The steering doesn't seem to have a lot of feel.
I think you go up to the left of here. Left.
No.
Left.
I've got, I'm doing it. Keep your shirt on.
Yes. And up to the lights and you turn right.
The suspension, I think, could be a little bit more compliant.
Okay. We've got modes here.
Well, it's not active suspension, so it's not going to make any difference to anything. Yeah, but it's not changing the suspension, is it?
No, I presume, well...
All it's doing is making noises, actually.
Oh, I didn't want that. So somewhere we've bumped the seat warmer. Believe me, I don't need it. Mode.
Could have been anybody that's been...
Mode's not going to tell me much while the blinkers are on.
That is quite a decent camera for, I remember only a little while ago, we were having conversations with another well-known mainstream brand about putting reversing cameras in cars. And now if a car doesn't have a reversing camera, you think there's something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So to round up, David, let's quickly retouch on the dash. I love the layout. I think it's nice. It's clear. The graphics are reasonably good there. They seem to do what it says in the box. This piano black touch shelf, is going to look really grubby once you've got some fingerprints on it, as it does now. Personally, don't find that very easy to use, those capacitive things.
Well, they lack haptic feedback. You can't.
But there's a place here for your phone, which is lovely.
One of the things is we've turned off all the lane departure assist and that, and it was much more lane departure assist rather than lane keep assist.
Well, the other thing too that I'm not really keen on is this seems to be a fisheye rear vision mirror here.
Yes.
And it's, I'm not quite sure. It's a very odd sensation. And I think what they've done is they've tried to take a small space and make it look bigger. That's all this week, David, from Chery's new Omoda 5.
Sounds like a name out of Star Trek, really, doesn't it?
Not quite sure what they're trying to achieve, but do you think they've achieved it?
I certainly think they've progressed very far. It has great graphics, great bling about the car, and great technology, but the technology isn't as refined as some others, perhaps more expensive cars in the market.
But it is $33,000, just a smidge under. You can't beat that for the price, for the size. But as always, David, it's come time to hit like.
Leave a comment.
And hit the little round thing to subscribe.